All right, guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. This is the part two of the review episode of the weekend matches. So we had some great matches, some cup competitions in the FA, some cup matches in the FA Cup. So where do we begin, Amitabh?
Rahul, let's begin with the FA Cup results. We generally don't analyze cup matches, but let's just talk about the results that happened over the weekend. Chelsea defeated Middlesbrough 2-0 away from home. Crystal Palace thrashed Everton 4-0 at home. Southampton lost a pretty close affair until the first penalty given to City was, I think it was soft. But yeah, City came through 4-1, and finally Liverpool came stubborn and resolute. Forest 1-0. Um, Again, a penalty that could have been given to Forest, but yeah. So in the semi-finals, we have Chelsea against Crystal Palace and Liverpool against Manchester City. On the face of it, it's a relatively easier fixture for us, but again, in a knockout match, can't really take anyone too lightly, especially Palace, who have again been in really good form of late. So, yeah, looking forward to the semis. I think Man City, their fixture list, especially with this match now, I think that is like a pretty tough start to April. So, yeah, hoping that they succumb to the pressure. Rahul?
Yeah. I mean, I hope that they and Liverpool both do. Yeah. Um, to be honest, I don't really think it was a soft penalty. I think it was very stupid of Salisu. I mean, he was so good in the match against City at St. Mary's in the league when they got away with a nil-nil draw. But if I mean, it's just so stupid when you're blatantly pushing someone in the box, right? Um, like it just doesn't really leave anybody else with an option, then other than to give a penalty. I mean, yeah, 4-1 is again maybe they took it personally, right? Like 2-0 draw, so they were like in this match they have to win. Maybe it was a league match, then it would have again remained a draw. But because it was a cup competition, that yes, the better side, in the end got away. Other than that, I think Middlesbrough, yes, already knocked out two teams, Spurs and United. So now they were up against even better team, the defending the World Cup champions, and yeah, so many things that I can say. But yeah, in the end, Chelsea won. The same goes, with Nottingham Forest. Even they knocked out a Premier League team. I mean, Arsenal, I guess. I think, yeah, someone who has never won the Champions League, whereas Nottingham Forest have. But yes, Liverpool, again, in a way, I would have liked to see Nottingham Forest knock them out as well. But then again, I think, again, there's just so much gulf in class, I think. Like, even if it had been nil-nil, it probably would have gone to extra time. And I think eventually we would have seen Liverpool beat Forest. Uh, Other than that, I think Everton, Crystal Palace. I mean, yeah, I can still understand, Everton losing, but the only problem is the manner in which they lose matches. I mean, just after they won a victory over Newcastle, we were like, maybe, things will change, but then again, it's the same old formula with Lampard. You win one, then you lose one, I guess. And then when you lose, it's like, I'm not a magician. I don't have a magic wand. Do you have the ball to play? Oh man, so many things. But we've seen this before. Having said that, if he manages to keep Everton up, I think eventually that's what people will look at, whether he managed to keep them up or not. So if he does, it will still be looked at as a good job because then come the end of season, he will be probably given, new signings and he'll be given time to develop his own squad. But right now, the target is only to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, regarding the penalty, just one thing. All I'm saying is with VAR, with technology now, I think the bias towards the bigger teams, and again, I have made no bones about it. I think Manchester City, Liverpool, and Manchester United are the teams that are more favored. Had it been on the other side, I'm not so sure if it would have been a penalty. I understand a push is a push, but then if you are starting to give penalties due to a push, then there will be so many more penalties every week. But then they deem, had it been, the other way around, they would have said it's a contact sport and stuff like that. Similarly, the way Nottingham Forest, they did not get a penalty. So um, just frustrated, I guess, with the way these rules are applied. So yeah, I think we can move on from here. In the Premier League, we had a couple of matches. Leicester City faced Brentford and at home. So Leicester won the match pretty easily, 2-1. Again, I think this was a lot expected lines, and finally Leicester are showing some fight. They are now in the top half of the division. Brentford, I think the two wins that they've had prior to this match that would have given them real confidence. And to be honest, even a point here would have been an additional bonus for them. I don't think they were, you know, thinking of too many points in this game. There'll be other games where they can, garner more points. But yeah, good home victory for Everton. Rahul? Sorry, Leicester. Sorry.
Uh, well, yes, again. So in a way, uh, they are getting back to their best in a way in terms of fitness. So we are seeing these results. At the same time, I think Christian Eriksen uh, got positive with COVID, so he had to miss this match. So that was another thing, I think. Um, Other than that, I think all the three goals were just so good. All three goals scored from outside the box, even the first goal from Castagna, and then the free kick from Madison, and then even the consolation goal by Visa from Brentford. So yes, on paper, not really a good match. Maybe you would say that like nothing that really carries anything, right? But the goals were just so good, so sublime. But yeah, that's all I think we can move on to.
Yeah, in the other match, Tottenham against West Ham, London Derby. I think the hangover of Thursday's match loomed large. Yeah, and given the counter-attacking nature of play of Tottenham, as the match went on, West Ham really struggled. And yeah, so I think they're out now of the top four reckoning. Tottenham, on the other hand, are 3 points of Arsenal, having played a game more, and these two teams are due to face each other. So yeah, they're a point above United. So now you can say that it is in their hands. Let's see how it all pans out. Yeah, 3-1 victors Tottenham. Rahul?
Yeah, this is actually what I was also looking at. I actually think it is between Tottenham and Arsenal now for the fourth spot. Uh, both the teams don't really have anything else to play for other than the Premier League, other than this top four spot. So when we talk about the managers, obviously Conte is a better manager. But having said that, the fact that Arsenal are 3 points ahead with a game in hand really helps them a lot. But I was also taking a look at the fixtures that both these teams have now till the end of the season. So Tottenham should have to play Arsenal at home. Tottenham, I think that they have to go to Anfield as well. Other than that, uh, Arsenal have to go to Stamford Bridge. Arsenal have to go to Tottenham, and Arsenal also have to play at home Manchester United. So it actually can be the biggest North London derby that we're going to have in years. And if Spurs manage to beat Arsenal, they could actually put themselves as favorites to finish in the top four. Uh, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can't really depend on both these teams. Arsenal are Arsenal, Spurs are Spurs. People, if you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Uh, so anything can happen. You can probably see both teams, struggle to make the top four. Both teams lose matches from here till the end of the season. Or you could also see someone like at least Spurs, who have someone like Conte. But yes, having taken a look at the fixtures, it's gonna be closer than people think. The fact that uh, Arsenal are ahead right now, so they are the favorites, albeit slight, but favorites, yes. But I think Tottenham have a very good chance of overtaking them. And just imagine if they actually do.
Yeah, whom do you pick, Rahul? As of now, of course, as of now.
I don't really have any affinity towards either of the clubs, but like I said, Conte is a better manager, and because of that, I don't really hate Tottenham as much now. But I don't really like Arsenal. I have made no bones. Like I'm not trying to hide it. I don't give. I can. I hope they get relegated. But yes. So yes. Let's say Tottenham. Yeah,
Yeah, even I'm leaning towards Tottenham. Let's see what happens.
yeah.
Uh,
Maybe then at least ask Arteta will not complain about the fixture congestion.
yeah, I just oh that is the double delight here. Tottenham qualify for the Champions League, Arsenal to the Europa League. So they play Thursday and Sunday, and Arteta can whine a little more. Uh, Anything else you'd like to add here?
Oh, sorry. I don't think I talked about the game. Sorry. I mean, yeah, like you said, the whole thing of West Ham playing, in Europe for 2 hours, I think that actually played a part. They look jaded, they look tired, and uh, obviously Tottenham also played against Brighton, but then maybe right now they're just picking form at the right time. And yeah, when you have someone like Son who is on fire, who is in the form that he was in, there is nothing that West Ham can do. I mean, just a couple of the first goals, I think, or maybe all three, if I'm not wrong. Zuma was the one who was the culprit in a way. I mean, it was. I remember for two goals for sure. It was Son versus Zuma, and we all know what happened. It was Son who managed to score. So yeah, Zuma's because of his physicality, you can say his lack of pace clearly, shows at times. So especially in a game like this, when you know that Tottenham, for Tottenham, it's all about pace. It's all about playing with the counter. So yeah, that didn't really help Zuma or West Ham. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, we can move on from the Premier League now. In the Bundesliga, we had Leipzig against Frankfurt. That game ended in a nil-nil draw. Leipzig have been in good form of late, but again, maybe Thursday. Oh, they did not have a match on Thursday, so they should have won it actually. But yeah, uh, again, the bigger issue here was actually Leverkusen won. So now they have a 3-point lead over Leipzig. They won against Wolfsburg 2-0 with Filio scoring both the goals late in the second half. And all your views on both the matches?
Yeah, the game between Wolfsburg and Leverkusen, I think even that was heading towards a draw. But then all of a sudden, the 21-year-old Brazilian striker Paulinho came on and he changed the course of the game. Until then, it was very even. But then all of a sudden, I think maybe yeah, Paulinho scored this goal, and then all of a sudden that just left space um, for Wolfsburg for Leverkusen to exploit because as soon as he opened the scoring, Wolfsburg tried to score an equalizer, and yeah, he got another opportunity, and yeah, I mean this was their first victory. Like we already talked about that they needed to have a reaction after losing two games at home in a row. They lost to Cologne last week and even were knocked out by Atlanta midweek. So yeah, they got this victory. Um, Other than that, I think the Leipzig versus Frankfurt match. Yes, Frankfurt, who actually had even played 2 hours in Europa League against Betis, and whereas Leipzig, who did not even have a game in midweek, but still they were so resolute, right? In fact, uh, their goalkeeper, the former PSG goalkeeper, in fact, if I'm not wrong, Kevin Trapp, he has been in such good form that he has actually earned a call up to the national team by Hansi Flick. So yes, he again showed the same form that earned him, the recall. He made so many saves. He was the player of the match. I think it's. I don't want to say that Leipzig were poor. I think it's more that Kevin Trapp was sensational. I mean, I remember. I think Yusuf Olsen or anything who had such a great chance that they could have scored, but he just did not allow them a single opportunity. So yeah, kudos to Frankfurt, but more than that, kudos to Kevin Trapp.
Yeah, in the other match, Dortmund against Cologne, Dortmund away from home. Again, something that we had talked about in our preview match. As soon as there was one foot in the door, Dortmund put that foot away and slammed the door shut. They drew this match 1-1. Wolf started the scoring for Dortmund in the 8th minute, and Anderson replied for Cologne. Again, there's a 6-point lead now at the top, and yeah, good days for Bayern Munich and Dortmund just don't seem to have the stomach for a title fight, quite frankly, and something needs to change at that club. The philosophy, the culture. Yes, they are making money, but I don't know how for how long they can, not be okay with not winning something. Now,
Yeah, like you said, we talked about this, but as soon as something like this would happen, they would choke, and that's what happened. I mean, this game was there, for them to win. Like, but again, every time, I don't want to talk about the same thing. I mean, it's again, it's not a personnel issue. It's more of a mentality issue. It's like they're okay. They just don't want to compete again. So that's. I mean, so I was just thinking actually. Yes, let me make this point that out of all the leagues right now, I actually thought when the season started that the top two leagues, in my opinion, it's Premier League and Serie A for obvious reasons, and then it's actually Serie A. Sorry, and then it's actually Bundesliga. But now I'm thinking that La Liga has actually overtaken Bundesliga. Like that's how far they have fallen. At least because of the improvements that someone like Barcelona or Atletico have made. So you can still say that they are showing that spirit. Whereas in Bundesliga, you just know it's a one team show, and even then, that one team is not getting out of second gear because that one team doesn't have to. Because I'm not really talking about League One here, because for League One, we all know it is a one team show, but at least with Bundesliga, we can still think that maybe there are teams who can at least give some competition to Bayern. But it's like that's just not going to happen. So that's the biggest criticism that I can make of Bundesliga and Dortmund right
yeah, and the most worrying part is I don't foresee that changing, at least in the near future. So yeah, we have to bear what it is. Moving on, we're talking about league. PSG, they were inflicted their heaviest defeat of this season. They lost 3-0 to Monaco. Messi did not play the match because of some illness. And yeah, Pochettino for the performance irresponsible. They absolutely basically capitulated. Yeah, I just, I mean, I know it is really saddest on my part, but even now they have 15-point lead with 9 matches to go. Wouldn't it be fantastic if they somehow manage to, goof this up as well? They've lost 3 of the last 5 matches. So see, they don't have to win a lot of matches. Even out of if I think if they win 3 or 4 matches out of 9, I think they'll be okay. But yeah, what a circus! What a circus this club has become. Um, Rahul, your views?
now. I mean, again, we've been talking. At least I felt from the very beginning that Pochettino was never a good fit for a club like PSG, and we can see what's happened. With his appointment. They're a third loss in a row away from home. 4 out of 5, I think. Even when you count the PSG, sorry, the Real Madrid match. I mean, it's not like Messi was in fine form that they miss Messi. Again, it's not about the defeat. You can lose matches and that's okay. It's the manner of the defeat. You don't lose 3-0. That's the thing. That's the problem. I mean, when you spend so much money when you're at the top, and there's a clear difference, a stark difference. Even Mbappe was like, play like PSG at least. So even things were said. I actually just don't see that it is actually possible that Pochettino is going to stay. But the bigger question that is now going through my mind is, will he actually last the season? What if they actually sack him before the season ends? Again, I don't really care. But then, like we said, he never looked like the right fit for PSP.
I think heads will roll, but I really don't know how much of a fault this is of Pochettino. Again, he was waiting for some other jobs. We all know that. And when that did not come his way, he actually got tired of waiting and took this job last winter. But yeah, I think if anybody has to go, it has to be Nasser Al Khelafi and Leonardo, because the culture that the club is suffering from starts from right at the top. So yeah, whatever this 1 year has been worth, I think. Uh, See, I'm not saying he's a great coach, but for whatever he has done at Southampton and Tottenham, he just deserves better. Any person would deserve better. I mean, for God's sake, they had Tuchel, and this is exactly the way they treated him. And so it is not about, I mean, how much power does a coach really have, when ideally he should be the most important person, at least from the footballing side of things. So yeah, if you give players so much power, we all know power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So again, things need to change. Non-footballing things have to change at that level
But then at the same
before.
time, uh, like
Yeah,
my thinking is obviously I agree with you. You know that it should not be like before Pochettino leaves, it should be someone like Leonardo or the guy who's bankrolling. But then, will is that actually possible? Is that actually feasible? Is that even probable? That's the only thing because usually the buck stops with the coach. That's all I think is gonna happen. That's why I think that it's Pochettino who's actually gonna lose the job.
yeah. See, I understand it is easier to replace one person than 4 or 5 person who are actually creating trouble in the team. But when you are saying that a particular individual is responsible, the first question is, was it even the authority? And the answer here is a clear no. So um, again, I don't have a soft corner for PSG in no way, shape, or form. But yeah, if you actually look at the problem at hand, you can get anybody. Even if you think the next coach will be Zidane, but if players are allowed to do what they are currently doing, I don't even see that he can, make a lot of difference there. But as a starting point, yes, he'll command a lot more respect. He can be stern, but at the end of the day, he needs that support from the board. Whatever he says goes. If that support is extended to him, only then discipline-wise PSG can get better. And it is all about the spirit and discipline right now. Of course, they have the players, and of course, those players are talented. So yeah, I think we've discussed PSG a lot far too much today. We can move on. Yeah, Serie A. Juventus against the bottom club, Salernitana, and yeah, pretty conventional 2-0 win. Paulo Dybala and Vlahovic scoring 2 goals in the first half. Um, I think the coach of Juventus said that he's not sure whether Dybala will be there beyond this summer or not. So something of this happened. Let's see what happens there. From what I have been hearing, there are other Serie A clubs who are interested in the player. Of course, there may be other potential suitors too. So let's see how this pans out. With Inter drawing, Juventus are just a tad bit closer to them now. Maybe they can try for that third spot for now and then, take things one at a time. Maybe they can reach the summit as well. Um, Again, I think this was pretty expected and yeah, good on them. Rahul?
Yeah, conditional like yeah. Didn't really expect anything. I thought it was gonna Juventus victory. I mean, Dybala and Vlahovic both scored. They wanted to put the loss against Villarreal behind them. So yeah, but even standard victory, nothing more to add.
Yeah, in the other match, Roma, they actually started like a house on fire, blitzkrieg sort of a performance. Three first half goals, two by Tammy Abraham and one by Pellegrini. And from there, they just controlled the match. Again, a dominating performance that was long overdue by Roma. And I think they are now fifth in the table and sixth. They are
Six.
sixth in the
Yeah.
table of, yeah, same number of points, played a game more than Atlanta. And I think if somehow they can finish fifth, I think this will be such a great season for them. And that can maybe also give Mourinho the backing, some new players injections that he wants. And uh, let's see, Rahul.
To be honest, I think irrespective of whether they finish fifth or sixth, it's still the same thing because in both the positions you're still gonna play in the Europa League. if they somehow manage to finish fourth, that's a different conversation. But yes, I don't really think finishing fifth or sixth would make a lot of difference. At the same time, yeah, I mean, Tammy Abraham, wow, but I think 23 goals already this season. He is the first player to score. I think he scored the most goals for a player in his first season at Roma, even more than someone like Gabriel Batistuta or even Vincenzo Montella. Wow. Um, he has scored the fastest goal in the Rome derby. Uh, he has, yeah, so he's only the second Englishman to score in this Rome derby, I think, after Paul Gascoigne for Lazio in November 1992. So, yeah, so many records that he's breaking. I mean, yeah, maybe we were wrong about Tammy at the same time. It's Mourinho, he just knows how to. I mean, the two goals again were so good, but then at the same time, like the third goal was even better. The free kick, by Lorenzo Pellegrini. I mean, the Lazio goalkeeper Costa just did not have any chance. He made a full-on dive, even I think got a fingertip touch, but just could not stop it. So yeah, at the same time, I mean, I still now remember the comment that Mourinho had made. That they were playing against Vitesse, whereas Lazio and Sarri were smoking cigarette. So yeah, maybe he knew that he said something like he always does, but this time at least he was able to back it up with a performance like this, where Asari was like he was just perplexed, like that's the word that he used. Um, I mean, honestly speaking, I'm not really getting carried away. I know, like you all know, that I like Mourinho, so yes, I do have a soft spot for Roma. Uh, Having said that, I'm not getting carried away. I don't really think that this is a team or a lot of these players are good enough to finish in the top four, or a lot of these players are good enough to play in the Champions League. If somehow uh, they want to finish in the top four next season, or they want to play the Champions League, then yes, additions are clearly required. I'm just like, for instance, it was actually the player from their academy, Nikola Zawelski. He's a Polish player, I think. He was the one playing at left wing back. So it was not Matthias Vinia, the European left back that Mourinho had signed. I think he is in a way out of contention. On top of that, uh, Leonardo Spinazzola, the player who got injured in the European Championship, we all were under the impression that he would probably be back, by November or then by February. But now, I think Mourinho said that he's probably not going to be back this entire season. So yeah, they have made these signings, huge signings in a way. Uh, so yeah, I think they are where they should be. But that's all I want to say. A good performance from Roma. Yeah.
Yeah, Gabriel Batistuta and Vincenzo Montella, that's a good company to be in. And yeah, I mean, what I was saying is, if they, come fifth, that is like the best of the rest, and that will certainly give impetus to the squad. I know the best they can do is Europa League. If there is any team that can really falter now, I think the most likely team is Inter Milan, but even then, 9 or 10 points is a gap too much given the number of games in hand. So yeah, good on Roma. Let's hope for better things for them. In the last match, we had Bologna against Atlanta. Atlanta sort of left it late. The 82nd minute, Cisse scoring that goal. They came away with us, another away win for them. Um, and yeah, they are right now fifth, same points as Roma. Ram?
Yeah, we already talked about in the injuries that Atlanta have, and especially injuries in front of goal. So I think even Jeremy Boga, who scored the winner against Leverkusen in the Europa League, I think he was also missing in this match. So uh, all of a sudden, uh, I think Gasperini had to call up a Primavera or an academy striker called Mustafa Cisse, and lo and behold, he actually scored the winner for Atalanta. So this is not the first time that we've seen something like this. A player from the academy in Syria called up to the first team, and then that player scores the winner. So we've already seen this twice with Roma. I think Afina Gian scored a brace against Shevchenko's Genoa. I remember even against Hellas Verona, I think two players of Roma from the academy came on as a substitute. Both of them scored a goal, and now all of a sudden we have this guy Mustafa Cisse come off the bench and then scored a winner against Bologna. Whereas we have seen Bologna have been very difficult at times at home. I think they actually managed to beat Roma. I think they even had a decent result against Inter Milan. So yeah, it is difficult, especially when you take into consideration that just 3 days ago, Atlanta were playing in Germany against the Diffusion. They had their whole trip planned, still without a lot of strikers. So yeah, maybe the victory by Roma, put pressure on them, and yeah, instead of joking, they embraced that pressure, and yeah, they kept trying and trying, and yes, in the end, they got a victory. It actually looked like that they had managed to double that lead, but then that goal was that goal wasn't out. But yeah, kudos to Atlanta, I think. Yeah, 1-0 to Atlanta. They'll move on from this match. Yeah.
Yeah, we move on to the La Liga now. So what we called a couple of good appetizers before the main course, they actually turned out to be sort of a drab affair. Celta Vigo against Betis and Sevilla against Sociedad, both the matches ending in a nil-nil draw. Rahul, what do you have to say about these two matches?
Uh, well, for Sevilla, I think. I mean, they've just. I mean, they're just not looking anywhere like the team. That was doing so well uh, that looked like could give competition to Real Madrid. Uh, I mean, there's just one stat that is so alarming. Sevilla did not have a single shot on target. They were playing at home. Oh my god! I mean, that's all I want to say. I mean, even someone like Martial, he clearly looks like maybe that signing hasn't worked. I don't know, but yeah, hasn't really. It's not just they're just not able to find goals. So that's clearly a big problem for Sevilla. For Betis, I would still say that I think it's a point gained then 2 points dropped for Betis for the simple reason that they were also just 3 days ago playing in Germany. They played for 2 hours against Frankfurt. So yeah, for them to even get a draw against Celta Vigo, I think it's a good point. We can clearly now rule them out of the top four. I think so. Yeah, maybe they can compete with Sevilla for the fourth spot. Other than that, I think the at least the top three, in my opinion, is decided now.
Yeah, which brings us to the biggest match of the weekend, the El Clasico. Barcelona absolutely demolished Real Madrid. Aubameyang, a couple of goals. Arejo, their defender, he scored one, and Ferran Torres scored one goal just after he missed a one-on-one against Courtois. It was sort of an anticlimax for Thibaut Courtois. He was presented the Best Players Award at the start of the match, and he ended up conceding four goals here. um, Now there are like Barcelona are 3 points behind Sevilla, having played a game less. They're 12 points behind Real Madrid, and yeah, given Madrid's fixtures, especially in Champions League and stuff, yeah, even Barcelona are in the Europa League, but I think they'll prioritize this more, and maybe in a couple of weeks, obviously things have to go in their favor. But what a turnaround Xavi has made, especially with the summer winter signings and stuff like that. We did say that this Clasico would not mean a lot for Madrid because they'll view it as playing a third team that is placed third. Um, but at the end of the day, it was an El Clasico, and yes, Benzema was missing, but we did expect Madrid to put up a better fight. um, they actually capitulated pretty bad, and it could have been more. I mean, Ferran Torres's miss was just one of those things. It could have been more. And finally, yeah, Dembele again coming to the end of his contract, two assists. Let's see what Barcelona do with him. That is something that one of the many things that we'll have an eye on in the summer. Rahul, your views on the match?
Yeah, I think Real Madrid would call this Hell Clasico instead of El Clasico. I mean, we got to talk about individual players. I think Dembele. I think he gave someone like Nacho Fernandez a torrid time. He just had so much time. And obviously, like he was playing out of position, center back playing as a left back. Uh, I think yes, the fact that this game didn't really matter as much to Real Madrid as it did to Barcelona. I mean, before the match, Javi didn't really say anything about competing for the title, but then maybe he wanted to wait. Uh, Maybe he wanted to see if they could actually manage to beat Real Madrid and then say. So now he has said that yes, we'll see if we can win the title as well. Now he's like, yeah, we're gonna win the title. Maybe it's just confidence, or maybe I don't know. Um, I think it's a good thing in a way. It's a wake up call that Real Madrid needed, in my opinion, because I'm not really sure who they are playing in the quarterfinals Champions League, but whoever they play, I hope that they play the same way against them as well. Uh, at the same time, I mean Aubameyang again. I think he scored 8 goals in 8 matches. Ferran Torres again, what a signing! So what I'm trying to say is that yes, Real Madrid are top in the league, and they are so dependent on Benzema. Benzema was missing in this match, but then when actually analyze Real Madrid, they haven't really improved or signed a lot of players. So maybe it wasn't really Real Madrid who were so good. It was more like the other teams who were so poor. But because Atletico have turned their season around, because Barcelona have signed so many players, now Real Madrid know that after not spending enough for the past 2 or 3 seasons, I think they now have to spend. I mean, there's just so much deadwood there. I think Gareth Bale is going to leave. At the same time, if Folon Mendy, your left back, wasn't really there playing, your second choice left back is Marcelo. If it's like to me, it's pretty clear. If you're not going to play Marcelo, sell him, sign a different second choice left back who you're actually going to play. The same goes with strikers, right? If Benzema is not there, you've got Mariano Diaz, you've got Luka Jovic. If you're not going to play these strikers, then please sign a second choice striker that you're actually going to play. I mean, if you have Hazard, you're not going to play him, sell him. But there is no point in keeping him at the club. So it's these things, that I hope that uh, because of this result, they will look at now. Because clearly, I think there's another stat that ever since Javi has taken over Barcelona, Barcelona have taken the most points. I think they've taken 40 points, and Real Madrid have taken 39 points. And Barcelona have actually played a game less in that time. So yes, it's probably because of the first half that Real Madrid had that they're most likely going to win the league. But yes, this Real Madrid will not be able to compete against this Barcelona at least next season, even if they sign someone like Mbappe. I think because the issues are much deeper uh, than that. Because obviously these players are clearly getting older. It's not like they're getting any younger. Uh, there are clearly issues around this squad. So yeah, I actually feel that this was a wake up call that they needed, so that this will actually force their hand, and yeah, they will actually look to sign some players. And yeah, let's see.
Quite, rightly put, Rahul. In the first half of the season, Benzema and Vinicius Junior, even Courtois, I mean, he has been sensational this season. So these players got Madrid out of jail, and of course, other teams faltered. Their main rivals, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, big time. They faltered big time, and so after Xavi has been in, and Atletico Madrid has had this resurgence of form. Even then, they are like 10, 12 points away from Madrid. So that just shows how bad they were and how far back they were. So maybe they'll be okay for this season at least. But of course, one player, even if that player is Mbappe, that's not going to solve their problems. They need leads in the midfield. They need some defenders. Of course, they need a number two striker to help Benzema. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see how much of that they do. They have to get rid of some deadwood before they get new players in. So, a total revamp of the squad is required. And again, all of it cannot be done in one window. So, they have to be prudent for at least the next 2, 3 windows to make the squad better again. Um, let's see how they go about it. As far as the match is concerned, Again, they can be dismissive of the result and the performance. They can say that it doesn't matter, we are still top. But definitely a cause of concern for them heading into the international.
Yeah, I think it was more about a validation. It was more about laying down a marker for Barcelona, which they did. I mean, yeah, just we talked about this before as well for Real Madrid. I think even Carvajal is not the player that he once was. Uh, we talked about the defense. I think they let go of two, Sergio Ramos and Varane, but only signed Alaba. Uh, Clearly, in the middle of the park again, there are issues. Mm, like you said, they do need a revamp. The only question is, can they do it in one go, or how long it's going to take for them? Because we also know that how trigger happy Real Madrid are with managers. So maybe if that stays the case, yes, uh, it was more of a psychological blow, right? Because what if this actually has a blow that they now falter in the league even this season? So yes, for Real Madrid, for Barcelona, job done. I think. Uh, let's see if Real Madrid are able to now get better and show that they can actually deal with the pressure and the psychological blow that this has left.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Barcelona have done everything that they could have done. Now they just hope that this becomes a turning point, in this season, and Madrid absolutely capitulate from here so that they can take advantage. So yeah, again, a win for Barcelona after, I guess, 5 consecutive wins for Madrid in the El Clasico. So good for them. Yeah, and that's about it from us. Anything else about the El Clasico, Rahul?
Nah, nothing about the health classic.
Yeah, yeah. So that brings us to the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We'll be back after the international break. We'll also give your opinions if something happens at our club Chelsea with potential new buyers. Till that time, thank you so much and take care.
Yeah. All right, guys.